Let's take a look at how we can add multiple buttons to our image and have them do different things when the user clicks on them. So this is what we had last time. We had the button over the Art Center, and when you click on it, it has some text and it says the same text as well. Let's see if we can add a new button above the Federation Square here and have it say something different when the user clicks on Federation Square, but if the user clicks on the one above the Art Center, it will still do the same thing as before. So the first thing we're going to do here is I'm just going to change the text for the button from Click Me to maybe Arts Center, like that. And there we go, so it looks like that. Now I'm going to draw another button just above the Federation Square. So the way we do that is I'm just going to copy that line of code there. So I'm just going to use the print button function again, and I'm putting it before the wait for button click so that we are displaying the image first and then the two buttons afterwards. And this one I'm going to call Federation Square. And if we run this now, we only see the one button because the two buttons are drawn on top of each other. Okay, they're at the same location. So I'm going to move this second button. I don't know how far to move it. 150, maybe 300. So that's 150 to the left and 300 down. That is too far down. Let's make that 200 down and maybe 170 across. Let's run that again. No, maybe a little bit further. 100 and maybe 180 across and 150 down. Okay, all right. Yep, that's looking pretty good actually. So there it is. Obviously, at the moment, if you click on the Art Center, okay, so it's doing that for the Art Center, but if we click on the Federation Square button, what do you think will happen? Okay, let's go for it. So you can see that clicking on either button will do the same thing because all we're doing here is waiting for a button click. So that could be any of those buttons to be clicked, and then we are always doing the same thing. So what we would like to do is after the button is clicked, so after the wait for button click function is done, we need to check which of the buttons was pressed. And then depending on which button was pressed, we're going to do something different. So the way we're going to do that is you're going to be introduced to a new word called if. Okay, so I'm going to type the word if in here. Notice it turns red. Any words that are in red means it's part of the Python language. Okay, so it's not a function, which can be imported from modules and whatnot. If it's red, it means that it belongs to Python itself. So it's a special word in Python that Python is going to check to see whether what comes after the if word is true or false. Okay, and if it's true, it will do one thing. If it's false, it won't do that thing. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to use a new function which is called isButton clicked. IsButton clicked. Okay, so three words there, capital B, capital C. And like every function, it has brackets afterwards. But in this function, the inside of the brackets, we're going to put the text of the button that we want to check to see whether it was clicked. Okay, so just like print button had some text that displays what the button name is, and print image has the name of the internet address, in here, I'm going to put quotation marks like that. And then between the quotation marks, I'm going to put the name of the button. Okay, so I'm going to grab that from the text that we displayed on the button. So Art Center there, I'm going to paste that there, like that. So what this function is now doing is that it's going to check whether the Arts Center button was clicked. Okay, so after this line, I'm going to put a colon. Okay, so that's the, you're going to use the Shift key and press the button next to the L letter there. And then I'm going to press Enter. And the moment I press Enter, notice that Python has put in some spaces for us. Okay, so these spaces are important. The spaces here are saying that any code that has spaces in front of it will only be run if the line above it was true. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this line of code here. I'm going to cut that. Okay, and I'm going to go back to here and then paste it. So I'm taking that print there and I'm pasting it in that line that now has a gap in front of it, And I'm going to do the same thing with say. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the say. I'm going to right click, cut, and then up here, I'm going to go to the end of the line and press enter. Notice when I press enter again, there is another space that gets inserted, and then I'm going to paste that as well. Okay, so what this does is these two lines of code with the space in front of it will only run if the button clicked was the Art Center. So if I run this again just to check, okay, so here we go, we're running it. I'm now going to click on the Art Center, and what do you think will happen? Okay, we get an error. isButtonClicked is not defined. So this means we need to import it from the goodies module. So I can do this, isButtonClicked. Okay, just make sure that that matches with that. But we're reaching a stage now in our code where we are starting to import a lot of different things from the goodies module. So a shortcut that we can do here, instead of just continually putting commas and pasting more and more functions in here, I can replace all of this. I can highlight that and press delete. If I just put in the star symbol, that's shift number 8, the star symbol means everything, okay? It's going to take everything from the goodies module. So this saves us having to type more and more things afterwards. It may mean that our code gets a little bit bigger behind the scenes, but for now, that's fine. It's going to save us time and not need us to type things over and over again. So the star there means it's going to take everything from goodies. It means that if we're using any new functions from goodies, we don't need to add it as a separate function at the end here. Okay. So if I run this now and I click on the Art Center, you can see that it now works for the Art Center. But if I now click on the Federation Square button, what do you think will happen? Let's have a go. Nothing. Okay. Nothing happens because Python will get to this line of code. It will see that the button clicked was not the Art Center button because we clicked on the Federation Square button. So it will not do these lines of code which have been indented. Okay,